Cricket's greatest fast bowler lost everything after retirement, but his comeback story will shock you. You think you know Courtney Walsh? The man who scared batsmen for 20 years? The West Indies legend who took 519 test wickets? Think again. The internet loves making pretty stories about retired sports stars living in big houses with millions of dollars. But here's the real truth about one of cricket's most feared bowlers, his life after cricket almost destroyed him. This is the story they don't want you to hear. The story of how a cricket god became a broken man, lost his money, and then did something amazing that nobody saw coming. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Courtney Walsh's real victory had nothing to do with cricket. Let me take you back to Kingston, Jamaica. Joan Wollaston gives birth to a boy who will one day make the world shake with fear. But Courtney Andrew Walsh wasn't born to be a cricketer. His first love was football. Not cricket. Football. Picture this. A tall, skinny teenager standing between goalposts, diving for saves instead of running down cricket pitches. That was Walsh's life until age 14, when everything changed in one moment. School sports day at Excelsior High School. The cricket coach watches this kid throw a ball during a competition. The power, the speed, the natural talent. You need to try fast bowling, the coach tells him. That conversation changed cricket history forever. But here's what nobody talks about. Walsh's family was poor, really poor. His mother, Joan, worked many jobs just to put food on the table. His father, Eric, taught him about hard work, but hard work doesn't buy cricket gear. So Walsh had to be creative. He used tennis balls wrapped in tape. He made wickets from old wooden board. He practiced in dusty lots where real cricketers wouldn't even stop to look. The local cricket club in Kingston became his safe place. But even there, Walsh faced rejection. Other players looked at this tall, skinny kid from the poor side of town and thought he didn't have what it takes. They were wrong. Dead wrong. By 1982, the people who picked cricket teams noticed Walsh, but his path to the top was rough. He was in teams, then out of teams, fighting to stay consistent, battling self-doubt. Then came the call to tour England with the West Indies. His dream moment. Walsh almost said no. Why? He was scared of flying. This man who would later scare batsmen around the world was afraid of getting on an airplane. He'd never flown before. The thought of going to England felt scarier than facing the world's best batsman. His first test match against Australia in 1984 was terrible. 1 wicket. Dropped for the next test. The shame was crushing. Walsh went back to Jamaica thinking he was a failure. He worked odd jobs, questioned everything, and seriously thought about quitting cricket forever. His mother, Joan, found him crying in his room, broken because his dreams were over. But Joan Walsh didn't raise a quitter. In 1985 New Zealand tour, Walsh gets another chance. This time he's different. Months of training, better technique, mental preparation. The change was incredible. 5 wickets in the match. Career saved. But success came with a price. Walsh stopped his education. He turned down job offers. He put everything into cricket. The pressure wasn't just about personal glory. It was about helping his family and proving that a boy from Kingston could beat the world. The golden years started. 1988 to 1995. Walsh climbing the rankings, becoming the world's best wicket taker. But behind the success was hidden pain. His back was always hurting. Multiple surgeries, recovery that never seemed to end. There were days Walsh couldn't get out of bed without help, yet he never missed a match if he could possibly play. The West Indies team wasn't just a cricket team, it was a symbol of Caribbean pride. Walsh felt that responsibility deeply. He pushed his body beyond its limits because an entire region was counting on him. The big moment came in 1995 at the Oval. Walsh takes his 32nd Test wicket, passing Kapil Dev to become the best wicket-taker in Test cricket history. He breaks down in tears on the field, not just happy tears, tears of relief. exhaustion, and years of struggle and sacrifice. The boy from Kingston had reached the top of world cricket, but being at the top doesn't last forever. In 2001, Walsh retires with 51 19 Test wickets. He had money but wasn't rich by today's standards. Cricket salaries in the 1980s and 1990s were small compared to today's contracts. Walsh had always cared more about the game than about making money. This would prove to be a big mistake. In 2004, Walsh thought he had the perfect plan, opening Cuddy's Ultimate Sports Bar in New Kingston Shopping Centre. His dream of mixing sports with business. The place had 55 big screens and served Caribbean food. The opening was huge. Celebrities, cricket fans, packed crowds. Walsh was finally living the dream of being a successful businessman. But dreams can become nightmares. Walsh, who had mastered fast bowling, struggled with running a restaurant, managing inventory, scheduling staff, dealing with the unpredictable restaurant business. The restaurant industry in Jamaica is brutal. High costs, tough rules, fierce competition. Walsh later said he was naive about the business world. He'd spent his whole adult life focused only on cricket. By 2010, money problems were getting worse. Food costs going up, fewer tourists coming, more competition. Cuddy's was losing money. Walsh found himself working 16 hours a day, trying to keep the business alive while dealing with suppliers and staff problems. The stress was destroying his health and testing his relationship with longtime girlfriend Anique Goodwin. By 2014, it was crisis time. The restaurant was losing money every month. Walsh had spent all his savings trying to keep it going. The man who had once been celebrated as a cricket hero was now struggling to pay his bills and keep his dignity. He was forced to take coaching jobs overseas, traveling to Bangladesh and other countries to earn money while trying to save his failing business. The irony was painful. The same determination that had made him a cricket legend was now making the pain of a doomed business last longer. In 2016, Walsh made the heartbreaking decision to close Cuddy's. The restaurant that had been his pride and joy for 12 years had become a financial burden he could no longer carry. The closure was devastating, financially and emotionally. In 2017, Walsh sold off equipment and furniture to pay people he owed money to. His dreams were literally being carried away piece by piece. The local media coverage was brutal. Some news outlets painted Walsh as a failed businessman who had wasted his cricket earnings. This wasn't just business failure. It was public shame for a man who had once been his country's hero. But here's where the story gets interesting. Because this wasn't the end of Walsh's story, it was the beginning of a new chapter. The failure of Cuddy's forced Walsh to think about his priorities and rediscover his true passion. He returned to cricket, not as a player but as a teacher and coach. His first major job came with the Bangladesh national team in working with young fast bowlers. Walsh found a new sense of purpose and happiness that had been missing during his restaurant year. The coaching jobs that followed, West Indies women's team, various international teams, and most recently with the Zimbabwe women's team in 2012, he discovered that his true gift wasn't just in taking wickets, but in sharing his knowledge and helping the next generation of cricketers achieve their dream. The money from coaching is modest compared to his playing days or his business dreams, but it provides stability, and more importantly, satisfaction. The wedding represented not just their love, but Walsh's emergence from the darkest period of his life. Anique had stood by him through the restaurant failure, the money difficulties, and the public shame. Their marriage was a symbol of strength and the power of love to overcome hard times. Today, Walsh lives simply in Jamaica. No luxury lifestyle, no multi-million-dollar empire. He drives a practical car, lives in a comfortable but not fancy home, and has learned to find happiness in simple pleasure. His main income comes from coaching contracts and his cricket development programs, including the Courtney Walsh Cricket Clinic that focuses on helping young talent. The clinic, sponsored by SVL, works with under 15 players across Jamaica, giving them opportunities that Walsh wished he had when he was starting out. The change from cricket legend to failed businessman to respected coach and mentor has taught Walsh valuable lessons about success, failure, and the importance of staying true to one's passion. He often speaks to young athletes about the realities of professional sports, emphasizing that making money should never be the main reason, and that true happiness comes from making a positive impact on others' lives. Walsh's story is also a warning about the challenges faced by athletes moving to post-sports careers. The skills that make someone successful in sports, dedication, single-minded focus, competitive drive, don't always work in business. Many former athletes have faced similar challenges, but few have shown Walsh's strength in bouncing back from failure. The cricket development work that Walsh now focuses on is perhaps his most important contribution to the sport. Through his clinics and coaching jobs, he's helping to find and nurture the next generation of Caribbean cricket talent. His approach is complete, focusing not just on technical skills, but on mental toughness, discipline, and the values that he learned during his own journey from struggling teenager to international star. Walsh's philosophy has changed a lot since his playing days. He now emphasizes the importance of education alongside sports, encouraging young players to develop skills that will serve them throughout their lives, not just during their sporting career. This perspective comes from his own experience of being so focused on cricket that he ignored other aspects of his development, an oversight that contributed to his business struggles later in life. The legacy of Courtney Walsh goes far beyond his 51 teen test wickets or his failed restaurant venture. He represents the reality of professional sports, the incredible highs, the devastating lows, and the ongoing journey of finding purpose and meaning after the cheers have faded. His story reminds us that true success isn't measured in wealth or luxury possessions, but in the ability to overcome hard times, learn from failure, and continue contributing to something greater than oneself. At 63 years old, Walsh continues to coach, mentor, and inspire young cricketers across the Caribbean and beyond. His work with the Zimbabwe women's team in 2025 shows that his expertise and passion remain as strong as ever. The headlines that promise luxury lifestyles and multi-million-dollar empires miss the real story, that of a man who has found true wealth in relationships, purpose, and the satisfaction of helping others achieve their dream. Walsh's journey from cricket hero to failed businessman to respected mentor is ultimately a story of redemption, strength, and the enduring power of staying true to one's values and passions. So what can we learn from Courtney Walsh's extraordinary life? First, that success in one field doesn't guarantee success in another, and that humility and continuous learning are essential for growth. Second, that failure isn't the end of the story, it's an opportunity to reassess, rebuild, and find new purpose. Third, that true wealth comes not from accumulating possessions or building empires, but from the relationships we build and the positive impact we have on others' lives. And finally, that the courage to start over, to admit mistakes, and to keep moving forward is perhaps the greatest achievement of all. Walsh's story teaches us that champions aren't defined by their victories alone, but by how they respond to defeat, how they pick themselves up, how they find new meaning when their original dreams crumble. The man who once scared batsmen with his speed and precision has found a different kind of power, the power to inspire, to mentor, and to show that redemption is always possible. Courtney Walsh may not have a multi-million-dollar empire, but he has something far more valuable, a life lived with purpose, dignity, and the respect of those who know his real story. His journey proves that sometimes our greatest victories come not from beating others, but from beating ourselves, not from accumulating wealth, but from discovering what truly matters. The next time you see a clickbait headline about a sports star's supposed riches, remember Courtney Walsh's story. Remember that behind every legend is a human being with struggles, failures, and the ongoing challenge of finding meaning and purpose in life. Walsh's transformation from cricket god to broken man to respected mentor shows us that it's never too late to start over, to find new purpose, and to make a positive impact on the world. That's the real story of Courtney Walsh. Not the wickets he took, not the money he lost, but the lives he's touched, and the legacy he's building one young cricketer at a time. Subscribe now to discover more untold stories of sports legends who found their greatest victories off the field.